Hello, Chris Edworthy here. We've got a lot to cover today. Now, I just wanted to start by introducing myself. I'm a 43-year-old man in the UK. I have run and owned businesses for some 20 years now. I'm also a single father, passionate about my two children, and I've come to YouTube for a few reasons. One, I want to be a marketeer. I want to understand how to market my products in my businesses rather than abdicating that responsibility to a marketing agency. I also have a 6-year-old that is really interested in becoming a YouTuber, and what better way to help and support him by learning and growing a YouTube audience myself. Becoming a single father has also given me a shift in my priorities, which means work now has to take a different priority in my life. Earning money, being the breadwinner, still needs to be the case because there is nobody else. However, children are the best waste of time when it comes to business. They take every ounce of your effort, every ounce of your energy to look after, especially when it's 2 children on 1. And all those single parents out there, I feel for you. It is hard work. But my God, is it rewarding. I wouldn't change it for the world. So how do I pivot as a businessman? How do I ensure I can still earn money, provide for my children? What can I do to support their interests? How can I nurture what they want to do and bring it into my business life? And one of the ways is through creating content. It's only going to further my ability to build my businesses. It's only going to further my ability to father my 6-year-old who wants to be a gaming YouTuber. So today I wanted to talk about business, I want to talk about cars, I want to talk about side hustles, and they are linked. One thing about my YouTube videos that I am going to promise you, I promise you I will make content. I can't promise how good it is. I am learning video editing, I am learning camera skills, I'm learning lighting. I'm learning a lot to do on my own because I want to master it for myself. And by mastering it for myself, I think I will become a better businessman. I'll be able to better support my businesses. I feel passionate that I need to understand what to do. I have my why as to why I started this. I have one why called Harry, I have another called Darcy, and I have a quote that has driven me to pick up a camera. And it's been a journey to try and learn everything I needed to do. If your child or anyone around you suggests they want to be a YouTuber, I suggest you encourage them because it is not easy. It's hard work, really hard work, to learn all the skills you need to do and create something that is good. And you'll see by the evidence contained within this video that creating something good isn't easy. I have spent months of learning camera skills, lighting, everything I could possibly need to learn, and I'm still no good. But please follow me on this journey because in a year's time I might be okay. And if I'm okay, then hopefully you'll carry on watching and we've had a journey together. And I would enjoy that. I'd like that. I'd like that for you, and it would be really, really rewarding for me. Let's start with business. Are you the right person to own, run, start a business? Can you do all the things that needs to be done? Are you a technician? Do you know the trade really well? You know how to build a cabinet and you want to become a cabinet maker and you're going to start a business around that. Are you the accountant that is able to look after the figures, know how to do a VAT return in the UK, how to submit your tax returns to the federal government or local governments in America? Do you understand the different types of companies that need to be incorporated? Is that your bag? Is that what you can do? Are you the people person? Can you motivate your team to strive forward? Do you even need a team? Are you thinking big? Are you thinking small? Are you going to start a business or are you just going to work for yourself? And there's quite a big difference in that. All of these things lead me to the bigger question. Are you able to do it all? Because as a business owner on day one, a solopreneur as they're now calling it, you are going to start and there's not going to be anyone in the room with you. You might have your family's support or you might not. Your friends might think you're crazy. But who is going to be the driving force behind you? What books are you reading to educate yourself to make sure you are empowered to make the right decision? How can I help you on this journey? I have bought, sold and run businesses for 20 years, and I would like to impart that information onto yourself if you're willing to learn, if you want to learn. And please comment and like below, because I'll be happy to make the video that you want. And the more suggestions I get around what businesses to start, how do you register for VAT in the UK? I'm a little less clued up in America, but I'm sure with a bit of research and from a friend or two, I can provide some of the answers. It is always best to seek professional advice. But I have been there, I've had the professional advice, I have had to learn a lot for myself. My very first accountant at 21, actually my second accountant at 21, my first learning, was that they wanted to charge me an awful lot of money, £700, or $850 probably, for an hour of their time to advise me that Sage accounting software was the way forward. I didn't pay their bill and we never engaged with them. However, I did look at the accounts of the business I just bought, which were well prepared and well thought through. And I contacted that accountant and they became my first accountants. I walked into the office understanding those accounts, understanding my first experience with an accountant that wanted to charge me fees and not everything in my best interest as a startup. And from my learnings, I walked into that office and said, this is what I want to do, this is how I want my accounts prepared, these are the things I'm looking to achieve through my accounts. So because I understood that I wanted to be saving tax, I wanted to be saving money within the business because I had just bought this business and I needed to focus on building the business, and I needed my accountant to understand what I wanted from him. But most business owners don't know that. They understand how to make or do something. They don't necessarily understand the business, and they hope the accountant does. In reality, that accountant that you've just engaged with has only ever been to accountancy school and may have only run his own business for a short period of time, or may never have run his own business and be part of a larger firm. One of the things I'd love for you to get out of this channel is how can you better understand your business to tell your accountant and your advisors around you what you're actually trying to achieve and why you're trying to achieve it. A prime example of this is when you sit with your accountant and say, I want to pay as little tax as possible. I don't want to pay tax if I can help it. Understandable, because why wouldn't you? However, if you're then wanting a mortgage and on paper you've earned zero money, how much is somebody going to lend you? Well, you haven't got any way of paying it back. Your business doesn't make any money. You don't make any money. So you go to your accountant and say, well, why aren't I making any money? And he turns around to you and says, well, that's what you asked me to report. You've told me what you want and I have delivered what you want. I have acted in your best interest. But your best interest, which you didn't tell him 18 months earlier, would be to maximise your tax, maximise your earnings, because there's $1 million house down the road that you would really like to buy. And without significant earnings and significant taxes have been filed, how are you ever going to buy it? Because you need to borrow. Because your business is your financial future. But are you prepared to sacrifice certain things to get there? If you're thinking that starting a business is about running your own diary and running on your own time, then you're probably quite right. However, your own time suddenly goes into evenings and weekends. It's cancelling those dinners with friends because suddenly your new fledgling business is doing quite well, which is great, but it's sacrifice. And it's those hours of sacrifice that people don't see that mean you create some wealth at the end. The internet is full of, should I start a business? Should I buy a business? It's not full of, how do I exit a business? And I'm really passionate to try and allow you to understand what you might need to prepare to get to a stage where someone is willing to pay you for your business. You need to understand whether you've built a business or you have a job you're selling. Are you the only person that turns up to work? And if you don't turn up to work, no one does. The money stops. Have you built a business that is only you, but you've got a subscription service that lots of people pay every single month? Now that's a different kettle of fish. If you have a day sick, the business still survives. Have you built a 10-person business that actually runs without you? Have you got a managing director in place? Have you got a management team that you can leave behind? Are all those things there? So actually now you can say I'm making $300,000 in net profit, and someone can walk into that business and doesn't even need to do anything because the management team is producing that for you. Now that's worth significantly more than making $70,000 a year on a job that I have to physically turn up for. And that's the mistake a lot of people make. Also, when you're coming towards retirement, are you still putting all your expenses that are from your personal life through the business? Could you maximize the profits? Because you might get 3 or 5 times your EBITDA or net profit. And if your profit is an extra $20,000 higher, 5 times that is another £100,000. Now you might have had to pay tax on that, and that might have cost you £4,000 a year for the last 3 years. But I know which I'd rather have. I'd rather have the big chunk of money at the end and rather pay a few pounds extra in tax. But unless you tell your accountant you're planning on leaving the business, how does he know what accounts to prepare? What's in your best interest? What are you communicating to your advisors that help you run the business on a day-to-day basis? Are you communicating anything at all? Are you just firing some information over to your accountancy firm and he does your quarterly tax returns? How good is your relationship? And how good is your relationship between your financial advisor and your accountant? Because if they don't talk, then your wealth management and planning for future isn't related to the accounts and your business that's happening day to day. You only achieve the goals with your financial advisor if your goals are being met on a day-to-day basis. How much do you need to retire? And what does that look like? And what does that look like in today's money? Is it my business has got to produce me £10,000 a month extra? Is it making you enough money for your future plans? When do you retire? Is it at 35? Is it at 45? Is it at 75? And you may not want to retire. You might want to take a back seat. Use the business as an income through retirement. Are you ready for that? Have you got the management team in place? Do you know how to structure that business? Do you need help and support to do so? So who are the people that surround you, that support you in your business, and do they understand the goal? And that starts with home. And I have come to realize this more and more. So, in my 20s and early 30s, I was able to put business first. I can't put business first anymore. I have to find a way of generating income that is partially passive. So if I have to care for my children, which is the best thing in the world, I can still survive. And this is part of this project. How do I do that? Can you turn a small Sony video camera for less than $1,000 into a business? So let's quickly talk cars. I have 3 currently. I have a Range Rover L322, which is now coming up to 12 years old, I think 13 years old. And I bought that about 15 months ago. And I've looked online, I did a lot of research on YouTube about the Range Rover L322. I have wanted one for an awfully long time. Jeremy Clarkson himself says it's one of the best cars ever made. And if it's good enough for him on his daily drive on Clarkson's farm, then it's probably good enough for me too. Before that, I did run a Tesla Model S, a 90D with free supercharging for life. And I did 55,000 miles in that car and loved it. I would have another Tesla tomorrow. But I wanted a change. I wanted something a bit different. So I decided to follow my heart, and I did buy a Range Rover L322 after some detailed research. Was it the right car to buy? Are they good to drive? I have now covered 27,000 miles in that car in 15 months. I can tell you the cost of ownership. Should you buy one? Should you consider one? Should you buy one over a brand new Range Rover? Does the insurance kill you? And I'll try and explain all of those things in a video about the Range Rover L322. The next car I have relates back to business. What can I do to look after my children and have a business? A bit of a side hustle, some may say, but I have bought a VW camper van and a small business shell that was being sold with it to try and rent it out as sort of passive income. I need to be here to hand over the keys, but I don't need to go on the journey with the customer. I'm sure they wouldn't like that. So the van disappears and I have income every single day from that van. Is it a good idea in 2024 to rent out VW camper vans? My final car is something I bought about 3.5 years ago. I hunted around during COVID for the cheapest Rolls-Royce Phantom. And I found one, £60,000, around $80,000. I thought I could get it cheaper. And after some negotiation, I was able to buy it for £45,000. And I bought the cheapest Rolls-Royce Phantom, I think, on the planet. I'll let you know what it was like to pick it up, to drive it. Have I had to repair it? Can you afford to buy one? And can you afford to run one? What is the running cost on a Rolls-Royce Phantom? It's quite a special car. It's chassis number 4, the 4th car BMW ever produced from the factory at Goodwood, which is just down the road, and I'm a member of the estate it sits on. Is it as good as they say 21 years later? And can I afford to run it? I have had another Rolls-Royce, again bought cheaply. I had a Rolls-Royce Wraith, black badge, 2017, and that was a world apart from the first Rolls-Royce. Entirely different car. I kept that for 18 months and I've now sold it. I'm sorry I haven't got it available for this, but I may be able to borrow one so I can give you a tour of what it was like. I would like to also use Rolls-Royce for business. Rolls-Royce have an app called Whispers, which I'm really impressed with actually. It connects all Rolls-Royce owners around the world. Let's see if we can have a sit down and I can do an interview with them so we can both learn what they did to get to where they've got to. A really great feeding ground for educating myself and you on how we buy, start, sell a business. And what it takes to get to that level of wealth where you can splash $500,000 on a car. And I think after a few conversations here and there with other owners, I think they'll be kind with their time and hopefully they'll put up with my inadequacies around filming. But if they will, I hope to share some interviews with you. That's all I've got time for. I've literally had a run today. I've had a meeting about my other company, which you'll see over my shoulder, Vectoring, 2 boxes. Vectoring.com, you can visit that website and you can learn a little bit about my main business. I'm here to help, I'm here to serve. I want to ensure that you can get something from this YouTube channel. Because I'm learning an awful lot about new things that I didn't have a clue about. So I hope to share some things with you too. As I said, I'm learning lots all the time. My camera just overheated. So we've had a pause, so I'm back. Anyway, with clever video editing, you may not notice. With clever video editing, you may not notice. I just might be a little bit older and greyer. The quote from Zig Ziglar that has driven me to start making content. I'm going to read, I'll put it up on screen as well, somewhere down here or there or somewhere, once I've figured out how you do that. Another learning curve. However, it's all good fun. It's the journey, as they say, and I am on it. The quote, "You can have everything in life you want if you just help other people get what they want." Now I think that's profound, it's brilliant. If I want things in my life, what value am I providing to you? What value am I giving to society? What am I doing to give back before I receive? And if I help enough other people get what they want, and if you're a salesperson and you're helping people choose the right car, it's not a bad thing to be a salesperson, it's a brilliant profession, but that is what you do professionally, and you should have integrity. You should want to make sure the person that walks in can afford the car, that it fits the criteria that they're looking for. Now, if you can do that, then you are a brilliant salesperson and you'll sell a lot because people buy from people. I don't agree with people selling sand to Arabs, as they used to say, because they don't necessarily need it. If they need it, fine. But if they've got a ton of it in the desert, why would they need some more? Why not have a solution to turn the sand into grass and they can build a golf course? That person was a clever salesman. Now I hope I can help you achieve what you want to achieve in your life. I'm not even asking for money for it. This is free content. I currently am not monetized. I don't have a course to sell you. I am thinking about writing a short book on selling a business because there are some key things there. I don't have an affiliate program, so if you click a link below in future videos, at the moment I'm not earning anything. So I'm giving as much as I possibly can. And I encourage you to do the same. I'm passionate about it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. If you can help just one other person achieve their dreams, their goals, then what more could you want? If I can turn to my son and my daughter and say, I have learned how to be a YouTuber, and I can now coach them to become a YouTuber if that's what they really want to do. I have achieved everything I could ever want from learning this process, because I know I've taken responsibility for owning the process by which they follow. I know they'll be safe online because I understand all the pitfalls that come with it. I have to build their confidence up because I will have experienced the negative comments below, as I'm sure there will be. Not everyone's going to love me, I'm quite prepared for that. And I need to build their self-esteem that they aren't reliant on the good feedback of people, because not everyone is going to like you. But if you can make a difference to a handful of people in their lives, then what a great thing that is. We should all celebrate that, surely. And I might not be good at this, but heck, at least I'm trying. Are you going to try? What is it you need to do in your life today? What are the things that are holding you back? Get out the way of yourself. Do something today that inspires you, that gives back, that helps somebody else achieve what they want to achieve. That's enough of my waffling on today. I'll try and be back soon with another video, and the next one I think will be about business. But let me know in the comments below if there's things you'd like to see, if you'd like to see the Rolls Royce that I own, the Range Rover I own, or the camper van. You will see them all in good time, but if there's things you want to see first right now, let me know below. I'd love to make a video. It's all good experience for me, and I thank you for watching until this point. And until next time, I have been Chris Edworthy. I thank you for your time. Goodbye.